Researchers traveled to all 11 state prisons with solitary confinement units and spoke with more than a dozen inmates about living in what's known as the hole.
It's horrible. I've watched people get a hold of a safety razor, slice their throats. Within days, they're unraveling, smearing feces, banging.
The study looked at the use of solitary over the past decade, defined as isolating someone for more than 20 hours a day. In some cases, their outside time is in a slightly larger space or in areas the researchers described as cages. In that period, 3,000 inmates either spent a total of 4 months in solitary or 45 consecutive days. Researchers found it's used inconsistently, not only for violent offenders, but sometimes for medical holds or for protective reasons. For example, when an inmate comes out as transgender. 14 inmates died by suicide while in solitary. 176 tried killing themselves.
Putting people into a room by themselves and stripping them of everything, including their dignity, is not going to help them successfully re-enter into our communities.
The authors were surprised at the use of restraints and devices that administer shocks like riot shields. Researchers called the practice inhumane and traumatic and not rehabilitative for inmates, 97% of which will eventually be released.
Our settings right now have the impact to cause harm, have a potential impact to cause harm.
The State's Department of Corrections is trying to reduce solitary confinement use by 90% over the next 4 years. That requires additional staffing and updated facilities. But the state says inmates are getting more time out, in some cases participating in group counseling or education sessions while still restrained. But DOC Deputy Secretary Sean Murphy says there will always be a need to isolate certain offenders.
We're in the business of supervising people who do some pretty bad things. And in some cases, they continue to do some of those things in prison. Our goal is to prepare people for release, but keep people safe while they're inside of our facilities.
Earlier this year, the state's Department of Corrections requested $19 million from the state to go towards reducing solitary confinement, but legislators only came up with about 1/8 of that amount. The DOC says it will be back here next year to ask for more money. In Olympia, Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.